Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to the podcast show here today. Of course, we are live from Swanky Studios. This is the K.L.P In The Evening, now streaming on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Pandora again. We're just everywhere, y'all. So please be sure you guys enjoyed that little intro there. I'm glad you liked the new intros, the new element intros we're adding to the radio station here at Swanky Studios. Not only we're doing it for the K.L.P in the evening, but we're doing it in the K.L.P in the morning, and we're doing it for Luke's Chat Podcast and also Grizzly Talk Podcast in our radio stations as well. So welcome back, y'all. We are back officially here. Now, before we get on to our content here, we have quite a few things to talk about. We're relating to Apple, so for all of you ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Samsung user, I'm sorry, this podcast may not be suited for you guys, but, you know, you can still listen to really enjoy what we got to say. Of course, if you guys didn't listen to it yet, please be sure to check out the Luke's Chat Podcast. We had Tyrus Lester back in our streaming services. He's back in studio, and that was a great podcast we did when we talked about Xbox versus PlayStation. So it just really is exciting to have my brother back, or my brother from another mother back for the podcast, and we talked about our scale and what our ideas for PlayStation 5 and, of course, Xbox One series. So, of course, let's get on to the nitty-gritty. Of course, we're going to talk about the iPhone 12. So, the Apple iPhone 12, everything we know so far. We did our homework here in Swanky Studios here at K.L.P Entertainment, and, you know, I wanted to make sure that we talked about this because this is coming up. The new Apple's iPhone 12 continues to leak after day after day. As such, this article tracks everything we know so far. You guys can look on the Forbes magazine to really read more about this, but their most exciting and obvious concerns for it to be released and potential dates. Now, we all know about the iPhone 11. I actually did have one myself at one point. Of course, I had to give it back because I had to think about financials that I had coming up. So, you know, I try to find the best deal, best phone plan. But the good news here for the iPhone, and it looks like it's genuinely impressive iPhone upgrade year. So here are the reasons why. Of course, the camera is the big newest kind of scale with cameras with the iPhone 12. Is Apple's inclusion for potential game-changing for long-range 3D cameras. So they're really trying to advocate 3D cameras with the iPhone 12. I think it can go a long way. Hopefully, they don't use it for kind of a gimmicky kind of look to it. I know a lot of companies try to find new ways, try to find new innovations within their product, and then it becomes gimmicky, and, you know, people don't really like to use it too much. So I hope this won't become a gimmicky kind of thing. After multiple leaks, the tech is now launched on a new 2020 iPad Pro lineup, which we did do a podcast about that. It is, you know, combination of time of flight, TOF, and the, and excuse me if I butcher these names, the LIDAR sensors. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm going to do my homework on that one to see what that is. To almostly instantly map its environment up to a distance of about 15 feet. While rivals have used the more basic TOF cameras, of course I know about that, largely underwhelming photographic improvements, Apple is focusing this sensors on augmented reality. Now, it's interesting that they're doing this because they're toying around with augmented reality. If you guys don't know about us yet here at Swanky Studios, you probably haven't been following us then, because you noticed that some of the movies that we're doing, of course, the little hint for you, the new movie Guardians, that's all augmented reality, and what we're able to do is toy around with that using Apple's technology to really capture augmented reality and to make a film out of it. So if you guys don't know about that yet, you know, when you saw a picture of me and my robot friend, can't give you a name because that's the name of the movie and I just don't want to spoil it for you guys, but that new movie Guardians is all augmented reality, and it's very exciting, to say the least. It's very exciting that Apple's focusing more on that, because I think augmented reality is the way to go. I think it's something fresh, something new and very innovative to tour around with filmmakers. I encourage filmmakers out there, not only in Atlanta, but all over the world, to tour around with CGI and augmented reality to see what you can create. With the results of by launching the Apple Pro now, Apple is also ensuring apps will be available to come to launch to the iPhone 12 lineup. Of course, the design, probably the biggest complaint about the iPhone 12 will be that it looks very similar to the iPhone X, iPhone XS, and iPhone 11 Pro. That's kind of the style right now. I do have an XR. That's the kind of phone I have. I have the product red iPhone XR. So I'm glad that they're sticking to the original design a little bit. I don't think Apple shouldn't completely change up the design, because it really is amazing. So you guys see the display of it. Of course, they're focusing on 4 cameras because it's that 3D camera. It's, we all saw this coming when they announced the iPhone 11 and the 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max. You saw the 2 cameras, and then they say, wait, there's more. There's 3 cameras. So there's going to be 4 cameras. I knew that they were doing something like this. It's just they tease us, and they're really good at teasing people. It really is exciting, to say the least, that they're really teasing the Apple fan base. Of course, there is some hope that Apple will reduce the notch, but it will still be there, and the iPhone 11 is not moving to punch hole or under display cameras yet. Users will get a new color through with navy blue, replacing midnight green for the iPhone 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max. So again, that navy blue looks very, very sleek. I think they shouldn't really get rid of that midnight green, because there's a handful of my friends who went out and got the iPhone 11 Pro, and they're able to get that that midnight green. My brother had one, and he had a green. So it just, it looks very sleek. I saw his; it was very nice. Rendered below with the new LiDAR scans could be more significant change on the back of the phones. So the display, of course, the iPhone 12 display will change, however, on the front display. It will have the iPhone 12 Pro, which will most likely be a surprise difference, with Apple reducing the size of the screen. So check this out, ladies and gentlemen. So, of course, with that, the iPhone 12, you have the kind of the standard kind of version. You have a 6.1 inch screen. That's the same exact screen inch of iPhone 11. And then you have the iPhone 12 Pro. That will be 5.4 inch versus the 5.8 inch. And of course, you have the iPhone 12 Pro Max. These names here, they have the 12, the 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max. That's different sizes there. 6.7 inch versus the 6.5 inch, of course. Within that being the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Apple is also expected to use the next-gen Samsung OLED panels. And it's very interesting that they're able to do they're using Samsung OLED paneling for their phones. Interesting. Samsung's been making the screen for Apple for years, so it's not really that interesting, but it's interesting to read that, Beyond those, even using the Samsung Galaxy S20 range. Now, I have a couple of friends, I know we're talking about Apple, but a couple of my friends actually told me about this new Samsung S20. And they're going for it, as well as many friends on college campus, that they're probably going to be getting the Samsung Galaxy S20, as well as the 120 Hertz ProMotion refresh rates. The biometrics, of course, the Face ID remains as is, as mentioned above on many articles. That's a no-brainer. No, they're not going to get rid of that Face ID. Yeah, that's the newest skill. I use Face ID. I use for a lot of things. I use it for a lot of social media accounts. I use it for banking information. I use it to even send out certain type of emails when it's corporate emails. So I use it. It's very, very important. There's hope that Apple will find a way to reduce the screen of the notch. That said, there have been numerous rumors about Touch ID will return with an in-display sensor to be used in a conjunction of Face ID. Touch ID is really good. I saw some benefits for using Touch ID. I think that's a good thing for them to bring it back, just because Face ID sometimes is not always reliable. I've had some troubles with Face ID before. And on my iPad, I had to use Touch ID, and it's best because you're using your own fingerprint. Face ID also works, but sometimes it can get a little finicky. Someone can look at the phone and really unlock the phone. It just depends on scale. So it wouldn't be a bad idea if they returned the Touch ID. I think it'd be really good. I think a lot of people would use it. Talk of the town of it, Touch ID might be returning back. So talks of this has gone quiet for recent months, so it may be that Apple is skipping it until 2021 and has scraped idea altogether. But the company continues to file medical patents for its in-display readers, like the one in the below. So you guys can see footage on that for sure. And Forbes have it, kind of a diagram for it, so you can't really see, of course, obviously on the podcast. Next, we're going to talk about the battery life. Okay, so as it stands, has been no credible leaks about the iPhone 12 battery life, but all eyes on whether Apple can increase its wired and wireless quick charging speeds. So that's important because, believe it or not, sadly, our phones is very connected to our device. And I'm not going to say this on the podcast because I'm not an iPhone, obsession person, but I'm on my phone a lot now. Now that we're doing media, now that we're, out there doing a lot of things, I have to use my phone for a lot of stuff. So it's very important that they increase that quick charging speed, because a lot of people use a lot of things on their phone now. It's just the way of the future, and it sucks, but Next, we talk about performance with the new iPhone 12. The Apple A14 chipset inside the iPhone 12 looks set to be the biggest talking points. Analysts from Macworld suggest that die shrink could see it ramp up to the MacBook Pro levels of performance, and clock speed may pass a screaming 3 GHz. In addition to this, the 6 GB RAM in the 2020 iPad Pro bond well as for similar jumps in iPhones thanks to the intense LiDAR scanner. So it's about having power. Power and performance is very important within your device. Now, a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people don't know how big performance is, but here, even at Swingy Studios, our technology has to be at the finest, at the highest point of performance, because we do a lot. Now, the pricing. Now, this is the thing that people want to know about, is, of course, that pricing. Pricing, big news here from the Menching Kun, perhaps that the most accurate Apple insider in the world, would say that Apple have no significant price penalty for the step up of 5G on the iPhone 12 range. Now, 5G is this new technology that Apple is invested in trying to increase it, but also Sprint, AT&T, and T-Mobile, they're doing this. Now, I can freely say that my plan is AT&T, and I also have 5G coverage. 5G is very important. I was able to use 5G from pretty much anywhere. And let me tell you about the 5G real quick. I know we're talking about Apple, but this is why the 5G is very important. So I am in Central Georgia, and I'm traveling with my sister, and she wanted me to book her a hotel room, because I do property management too. So I was able to book her a room for one weekend in the middle of nowhere in Central Georgia, and I was able to get connected to service, and I was able to do my thing. So that's why 5G is important. That's why I encourage a lot of students to go in there, find a phone plan that's not so expensive that offers 5G coverage. Get the 5G, because you never know what you might need it for. I've used it for a lot of crazy things when I'm out in the middle of nowhere. 5G definitely works when you're in the heart of city of Atlanta, but when you're out there, middle of nowhere, you need to get connected to the internet fast. I was able to do that because I have 5G. So it's amazing. It really is amazing, to say the least, for that, for sure. Now, the release date, of course, the big question is, traditionally Apple launches the new iPhones in September. With the budget, iPhone 9 is expected. That was expected in June. So, but an impact of COVID-19 means nothing is certain at this point. Nothing is certain at this point. They, as it stands, it looks like they could expect a delay for the iPhone 12 lineup, and should still be launched before Christmas. So it'd be a good thing if Apple launches it before Christmas, because that's how they boost their sales. A lot of kids want to get the new iPhone, and parents are going to say, okay, we'll get it to you on Christmas. If you were good for this year, you get a new phone for Christmas. So it works. If it comes out before Christmas, or maybe a couple weeks before Christmas, it's going to boost a lot of sales. This COVID-19 thing sucks for businesses. I hate that for a lot of businesses. It's unpredictable when this phone's going to come out due to this pandemic. Me doing the property management, we took a hit as well. So, and I say this to most people, if COVID-19 was a person, I would whoop that ass, because economically, it's ruining our economics a little bit. So, there's no telling when this phone comes out, but let me know what you guys think for this new iPhone. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you have mixed feelings for it? Are you going over to Samsung? Let us know. We want to hear from you guys for sure. That's going to wrap it up here on the K.L.P in the morning. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your Sunday morning. Please be sure to stay safe, drink lots of water, and do not go outside if you do not have to. This has been K.L.P in the morning with your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. Until then, stay swanky, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's it for this week's episode. Add us to your podcatcher or on iTunes now, so that you can make sure you never miss out on another second of our wonderful podcast. We would hate for you to miss out. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks for listening.
Please be advised that this podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only, and is in no way a replacement for legal or medical advice. The opinions contained within are solely those of the interviewers and interviewees, and should be received as so. Those seeking help or advice are encouraged to obtain professional legal and medical services.